what is happening in Kerala? On one side, you find the state at the forefront of multidimensional poverty index, healthcare indices, educational indices. On the other, the state is continuously struggling with radicalization and extremism issues. See the case of young people joining ISIS. See the case of rally that is being conducted in support of Hamas in Kerala. And the recent bomb blast in Kalam. That is nothing but a reflection, another reflection of the continuing extremism and radicalization in Kerala. On that note, in this video, what we're going to do is, we will have a complete analysis on what exactly happened in Kalamasheri. Who are these Jehovah's Witnesses? What makes them distinct from other Christianity sects? And we also see an just overview on rising trend of threats of lone wolf attacks in India. Is this a one-time incident, or is this something beginning of a new kind of terrorism threat in India? Let's get started. Let's understand what exactly happened on 29th October 2023. So this day, it was Sunday morning. Around more than 2,500 people have assembled in the convention center at this Kalamasheri. Now, why they have assembled? They are members of this sect, Jehovah's Witnesses. They have assembled for a prayer meet that was continuously being going on for 3 days. And it was last day of the prayer meet. And it was on this day, in midst of the prayer, the bomb blast happened. A series of low intensity bombs. Mostly if you look at this analysis or witness statement, it was a locally developed low intensity bomb blast. A series of bomb blasts happened. And 3 people were killed, including a child of 12 years. So what prompted these gruesome attacks on this religious community? The more shocking development related to these happened a few hours later. That means a man identified as Dominic Martin. He surrendered himself at the Kodagara police station in Thrissur. He claimed the responsibility for the series of blasts that happened in this religious congregation. It was totally new, something which we haven't exposed in India at least. Now, he was himself a member of this congregation community. And he claimed the responsibility. He provided proofs before police. He posted the videos on social media, including Facebook and YouTube. Even he posted the video in Malayalam as well as Hindi. He claimed the responsibility. He explained himself why he conducted this gruesome crime. And his reasons were more pathetic. Let's see some of the words of Martin Dominic. These were the exact writings, words taken from his explanatory video posted in the social media. He says, I was a non-serious member of the congregation for 16 years. 6 years ago, I found that the teachings were anti-national. The denomination's leadership refused to pay heed, although I had requested them to stop this type of preaching, which even exhorted children to refuse sweets and food items offered by their classmates. They also tell their members of their congregation to desist from singing national anthem. All this was nothing but equivalent to injecting poison into the minds of people, including children. Now, what he is saying, the sect has itself distinctive characteristics. They don't sing national anthem, they don't take sweets, they don't take blood from other community people. Whatever is his reasons, whatever is his logic that led to his differences with the sect which he followed, he was a member for 16 years. Is this the way to respond? Is this the way to respond in a civilized society? Is it even acceptable way of response in a civilized constitutional democratic society? We all live with equal protection of the constitution and of the state. And it is in this social atmosphere this guy has created all this havoc. So many arguments are being made on this front. Is it done? He has been claiming, he has been proving so much of proof to the police that to prove he has done this attack alone. But is he alone? Is there any grouping behind him? Or is there any unidentified intentions behind this attack? All these details are yet to come out. It is the responsibility of whoever agencies, state agencies or central agencies investigating this terrorist activity to come out with the details, to come out with all the linkages associated with this man and this crime. Let's not make a statement on this regard, at least for now. Let's go forward. Let's focus on who exactly are Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses identify themselves as Christians. Even though identify themselves as Christians, they have distinctive differences with Christianity or mainstream Christianity. It was in 1970s by Father Charles Taze Russell. He was the founder, he was the initiator of this sect known as Jehovah's Witnesses. He interpreted Bible in a completely different way. He interpreted the same religious book and come up with a total new interpretation to the book. And followers of this interpretation were called as Jehovah's Witnesses. Throughout the world today, there are around 8 million members, active members of this community. In India, even though it started in 1870s only, from 1905 itself, this community has arrived and started preaching their religion in India. We have around 56,000 active Jehovah's Witnesses in India. This information is provided by this Jehovah's Witnesses website itself. So comparing to total Indian population, say 140 crore, 56,000 is an extreme minority religious sect. What exactly makes them different? How Jehovah's Witnesses are different from Christianity? One of the major difference in doctrine that comes from the belief in Trinity. Christianity believes in one thing, that is the God as Father, Jesus as Son and the Holy Spirit. They consider these whole three as divine, whereas the Jehovah's Witnesses doesn't consider in this Trinity. They believe in only one God, that is Jehovah. And they don't completely disregard Jesus Christ also. They have another interpretation for Jesus Christ. Jesus is God's Son and first creation. God Himself, not God Himself. There comes the difference. He is lower than God. So this is the interpretation of Jehovah's community. Jesus Christ is been interpreted as King of the heavens, kingdom of heaven. So again, there are so many differences. In salvation, in the ideas of hell and heaven, there is another interesting aspect related to salvation. Only a selected 1,44,000 people can only go to heaven or only get raised to the level of heaven. They can share the power with Jesus Christ when Jesus Christ is ruling. While there is no such segregation in respect to other sects of Christianity or mainstream Christianity. Similarly, the idea of cross is totally different. While idea of cross was Jesus was crucified on cross as per different mainstream Christianity groups, while it was not so according to Jehovah's. Similarly, the Christian festivals like Christmas, like Easter, all these festivals are not at all being celebrated by Jehovah's Witnesses. So even though they call themselves as Christians, they have their roots within the Bible. There is distinctive doctrinal differences between Jehovah's Witnesses and mainstream Christianity. Let's see what some of the distinctive practices of Jehovah's Witnesses. See, first most important aspect, no pledging of allegiance. This community is spread across different countries. In no country they pledge their allegiance to that country. What is the reflection of this? In any of these countries where this sect is living, they don't salute their national flag. They don't sing national anthem in any of the country, including India. They believe their allegiance belongs solely to God's kingdom and not to any earthly nation. That is, somehow this ideology is against the modern state, concept of modern state. Refusal to certain medical treatments. That is another extreme distinctive practices of Jehovah's. This includes even not accepting blood transfusions even in life-threatening cases. This is based on their biblical interpretation that prohibiting consumption of blood in any context. So the interpretation is made according to their perspective, and that is being guiding these groups so far. Another very controversial, extremely controversial, at least in the western part of the world, that is the two-witness rule. The two-witness rule require at least two witnesses to establish accusations of wrongdoing, unless the accused confesses himself. In cases of child abuse, this has been extremely controversial in many of the Western countries. And they are known for their door-to-door evangelism, offering Watchtower. Watchtower was their early book. This is an example of their early magazine that has been published, which propagates the idea of Jehovah's Witnesses throughout the world. So that is some of the very distinctive practices these Jehovah's Witnesses conduct. And this also had led to legal debate in India. It's not that they have been practicing this throughout without any conflict. Their practices has been questioned by different walks of life, and there has been one of the most influential cases, or this case is also called the National Anthem case, the Bijoy Emmanuel versus State of Kerala case. So what is the background of this case? In 1985, around 4 decades before, 3 children from a school in Kerala has been expelled for not refusing to sing the Indian national anthem Jana Gana Mana. So as I told, these 3 children were coming from the Jehovah's Witnesses community. They have their religious doctrine of not pledging allegiance to any of the modern state. So they don't completely disrespect Jana Gana Mana. They simply stay in silence. They refuse to sing the national anthem of India. Now, due to this reason, these 3 children were expelled from the school. And the father of their children, he was quite influential and educated. He approached Kerala High Court. He filed the writ petition in Kerala High Court. Expulsion violated their rights to freedom of expression and freedom of religion. Article 19 and Article 25 has been cited here. Now, what the verdict of Kerala High Court was? Kerala High Court dismissed this case, asserting that no elements of national anthem could offend religious convictions. They upheld the expulsion of students from the school. They upheld the verdict in support of the state. Now, but the father was not ready to stop there. He approached Supreme Court under Article 36. Special leave petition was filed in Supreme Court. Now, what Supreme Court ruled that it completely reversed the order of the High Court. Supreme Court verdict came that no express provisions of the law obligating individuals to sing national anthem, and it was not disrespectful to stay silent when national anthem was sung. So this gives the right to remain silent. You might have heard a controversy related to mandating national anthem during cinema halls. During that time also this case has been in discussion. So this case brought in the idea of right to remain silent if a national anthem is being sung. Court upheld the religious rights of these 3 citizens under Article 25. So this has been a lot of subjected to the extreme, or you can say the distinctive practices of Jehovah's community has been in the legal circle before also, has captured the imagination of public psyche before also. And the Bijoy Emmanuel versus State of Kerala, which defined the right of silence during national anthem and during patriotic practices, this is one of the classical examples that brought forward the idea of right to silence. On that note, let's go ahead. Now let's discuss another security aspects part of this development. Major threat of this kind of development is lone wolf terrorist attacks. Lone wolf terrorism. Even when we speak about Dominic Martin, where did he proclaimed all this? Where did he got all these equipments to build the bomb? Where did he got the ideas to build the bomb? According to he learned everything from social media, from websites, from YouTube and everything. He ordered other things and then used it for crackers, big crackers, and used that chemicals for building the bomb. He used petrol that is commonly available for building the bomb. So with rise of technology, with scope of misuse of technology, the possibility of lone wolf attack is increasing. This has been a major problem in western part of the world. This has been a major crisis in USA. In Christchurch lone wolf attack, we have seen around 51 people were killed in that attack in 2019 in New Zealand. So this is this the threat to India? Is this the beginning of a new kind of terrorism in India? Or is this a one-time act? That has to be pondered by our security agencies. So what exactly is lone wolf attack? What differentiates lone wolf attack and traditional terrorism attack is, it is conducted by a single perpetrator. He doesn't have allegiance to any of the groups. He got motivated, radicalized by certain ideologies, and he himself is conducting the heinous crime. Act of terror is self-willed. Self-conviction is the reason for carrying out such kind of terrorist attacks. And why lone wolf attacks are on rise? One of the major reasons is internet and social media. Easy access to extremist content. You might have heard about the sleeper cells. When ISIS was prominent, all these groups, terrorist groups, where they are recruiting young people from? They are recruiting young people from this, through this social media, to using social media, using sleeper cells in social media. Difficulty for detection. As an organized terrorist group, they have a pattern of communication. They have a pattern of financing. All this become irrelevant in lone wolf attacks. Similarly, inspiration, it can be a pandemic effect. Lone wolf attack in one place can inspire lone wolf attack in other places. We have seen these developments in Bangladesh, where one attack is being inspiration for carrying out similar attacks in other places. And the rising polarization and social climate of the society also lead to different rise in lone wolf attacks. So this has been the example of Christchurch lone wolf attack. So what are the legal and institutional mechanisms in India to tackle these? If a security question comes, you should have a brief idea what are the institutional and legal systems available in India to tackle lone wolf attack. There is no segregation between lone wolf attack or conventional terrorism organization. So what are the legal systems? Two major acts we have is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, UAPA of 1967, which has been amended in the recent past also. It allows for detention of suspect up to 180 days without filing the charge sheet. The getting bail provisions, you might have heard this in different cases. Bail provisions become very difficult to get. Other details related to the arrest cannot be like easily available to the public. It empowers government to ban terrorist organizations. It facilitates asset freezing of individuals and groups as designated terrorists. Similarly, we have this National Investigation Agency, NIA Act of 2008, which came into prominence after the Mumbai attack. What it does is it investigates specialized crimes like offenses that affect sovereignty, security and integrity of India. It relations with foreign countries, foreign affairs and all. So these are two major legal mechanisms we have. Now institutional mechanism, we have a series of institutions starting from NIA as the coordinating agency, IB and RO as the intelligence agency, where IB function as internal intelligence agency, RO is mostly associated with external aspects. National Security Guard, State Police and Anti-Terrorism Squads, National Security Council, which take the highest level decisions, including the atom bomb or response, surgical strike. All these response decisions are somewhere related to National Security Council. Then for enforcing cyber security, we have CERT and other cyber security related mechanisms. So these are the institutional system we have. not just to tackle lone wolf attack, but to tackle other forms of terrorism also. Now, way forward, how to tackle lone wolf attacks. It's complicated, it's very difficult to track, and it's on rise also. So what should be the response of the state to take necessary precautions to stop lone wolf attack? You can get so much of case study from the West. You can get so much of UN reports and other organizational reports related to lone wolf attack. One of the prominent steps you should keep in mind is enhanced monitoring and surveillance system, community engagement, community policing. You have done this in Kashmir. You might have seen some of the initiatives where Army is teaching students for different competitive examination. Army is funding different students for different competitive examinations. Army and other security organizations. Why they are doing? Because to enhance the community engagement, counter radicalization program, educational programs, or de-radicalization programs. All this included in this. Mental health support programs, and lastly the legal measures. Legal measures in the aspect that in most of the lone wolf attack, the inspiration comes from somebody else. He might not be directly even linked to this crime. So there should be legal system to prosecute those who incite violence. Laws related to hate speech, laws related to incitement of violence between religious community. These laws should be strengthened. Now, as a very important balanced conclusion, you can write on this regard. It is always important to balance measures of anti-counter-terrorism measures for human rights and civil liberties. Like there should be whatever, and we speak about surveillance, we speak about monitoring of citizens. This should be done with respecting the civil liberties, with respecting the human rights of the citizen. Overly intrusive methods can lead to backlash and further radicalization. Enforcing surveillance state measures on citizens can backfire all the radicalization or extremism tackling measures. So in this regard, we are reached the last part of this class. I will give you some of the UPSC relevance of whatever we have discussed so far. So it is somewhere related to GS1, Indian society, somewhere related to internal security, and you can give examples related to ethics, integrity, and aptitude. Some of the questions, if you want to practice, you can see here. First question is related to radicalization. The rising trend of radicalization in Indian society has emerged as a prominent concern in recent years. Critically analyze the causes and contributing factors for this increasing radicalization. Second question, critically analyze the role of social media in propagation of fake news. What are the potential consequences on social harmony and democracy in India? Related to role of social media, fake news. So even after the attack, Kalam attack that we have been discussing so far, there has been a set of political leaders, a set of community leaders. They have been propagating, or they have been accusing certain communities. They have been putting the blame on certain communities for whatever developments has happened, without evidences, without due proof for whatever statement they have been making. Even Kerala state has put a case FIR on Central Minister of State Chandrasekhar. So this has been done to promoting the enmity between communities. So fake news, how it is related to lone wolf attacks, how it is related to maintaining harmony in the state. Another question, unique challenges associated with lone wolf attack. What inspiration, how difficult it is to track for security agencies for lone wolf attack. How easy is the penetration of lone wolf attack into all different parts of the country with access to internet, all these systems. So all these things you can include in this question. How to formulate comprehensive counter-terrorism strategy that respect human rights, promote social harmony, and upholds national security. An ethics question where you should bring out ethical aspects related to counter-terrorism policy. So these are the broad areas which is more or less relevant to UPSC related to this development we have seen in the recent days. So on that note, we will conclude today's class. We hope the proper punishment has been divided, proper investigation is being conducted in this case, and proper punishment is being rewarded to this person. And we hope our security agencies, our society have maturity to handle sensitive times like this. On that note, we will wind up this lecture. Thank you so much.